How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Sick Eric Tech, and today we're going to be going on over the pros and cons of the Moto G Power 2024. Now, this is a great cheap device for your basic average user, and we're going to see if it's good enough to be worth the $200 price tag. This is the T-Mobile variant, by the way. If you were to get this from T-Mobile, I believe it's about $270 or $280. So we're going to see if it's important with the likes and dislikes on the Moto G Power 2024. And spoiler alert, I think they're about half and half as far as what I like and don't like about this device, but still a very inexpensive device for somebody who just wants a backup phone or something. So if you guys are new here to Sick Eric Tech, please consider subscribing. That'll really help out the channel and I would really appreciate that. So let's get started. Pros and cons, Moto G Power 2024. Let's go. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started with the pros and cons of the Moto G Power 2024. Now, overall, this is a great device if you want, a backup phone or a phone for an elderly or even a kid, or if you're just a regular average basic user who just wants to make phone calls, text messages, go on social media, and scroll the internet. You're not really a gamer or anything like that, or you don't do anything serious with your phone, like shoot videos and render videos on here. So like I said, great device, $200. I believe it's on T-Mobile right now, so it's a very inexpensive device if you're on T-Mobile. If you're going to Motorola's website, I believe it's going to be about $279. And yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. I did do some notes on here as far as my pros and cons. So the first is going to be the build quality and the design. So I really do like this eco leather backing on here. It really gives the phone some nice grip, and it's not going to scratch up like a glossy plastic would. And I think it looks really nice and elegant. I love the texture and the feel and the look of this faux leather on the back. The frame is going to be plastic, but it is a lightweight device and it's not too heavy. It might be a little big for some people, but as far as the overall weight, it's very nice and light. And I believe the weight comes in about 7.09 ounces, so it's not a huge beast. It fits in a pocket okay. You got some nice rounded corners, flat display. The bezels are a little bit big, but as far as the design goes, I think this whole new Motorola look with the faux leather backing is doing really nice. I kind of wish the camera was that faux leather as well. It just looks kind of odd and out of place with this large rectangular, island for the two small cameras. But other than that, build quality is actually really, really nice on this device. So going on over to the audio, the Bluetooth quality and the actual speakers are actually really good. The Bluetooth quality is excellent. You get a lot of different options with this Dolby Atmos. You get spatial audio, which is really, really nice and gives you sort of that, from your music coming from all directions. And I actually really like using this over the smart audio. And Bluetooth sounds really good on here with any type of headphones where you're connected to your car or any type of Bluetooth earbuds. It's going to sound good. You also do get a headphone jack on here that also has pretty good volume when you connect this to a pair of headphones or to your auxiliary in your car. You're going to get pretty nice audio. So let's go ahead and listen to the speaker quality of the Moto G Power 2024. So what do you guys think of these speakers? I think they actually sound pretty good. They're not going to blow anybody away, but If you're in a crowded area, you're still going to be able to hear your device, and when you're playing music and stuff, it actually still sounds pretty decent for what it is. So going on over to NFC, this device does have NFC, which is left out of a lot of budget devices nowadays, but you are able to use your contactless payments on here, such as Google Pay, which is excellent. I use that a lot, and for a device at this price range, I really do think that NFC was a nice choice for Motorola to include on this device. So another pro is going to be the wireless charging. You do not see wireless charging on a device of this caliber. It's just nowhere to be found. You're not going to go buy a $200 budget phone and have it have wireless charging. So I think that's nice that Motorola included that on here. It's 15-watt wireless charging and 30-watt wired charging. So I think that's pretty good for a device at this price range. It's a budget device, yet you are still able to wirelessly charge this. My OnePlus 12R is a mid-ranger slash flagship killer. No wireless charging on here. Budget device, has wireless charging. I just don't know how Motorola did it, but that's a really nice feature. If you like to just charge your device on your wireless charger, you are able to do that here. So going on over the price. So like I said earlier, $200 for this device on T-Mobile. You could probably find ways to get this for free by adding a line. So I think that's an excellent price if somebody wants a nice, reliable smartphone to just do the basics and, you know, make phone calls, text messages, take some shots here and there, you know, with your camera. Really nothing too serious. You know, you're not going to go out filming, you know, movies with this device, but still, for your average basic user, I think this device will work just fine. It does the job. It has, you know, really good performance, good enough for, you know, your average person, and it's going to get the job done. It's going to make that phone call, and it's going to send that text message. So I think the price is actually pretty good for what you get. So another thing on the pros is going to be expandable storage. Yes, you do get a micro SD card on the Motorola G-Power 2024. So that's fantastic that a lot of devices still offer that at this price range, and of course mid-rangers. But of course the flagships do not offer micro SD card. They want you to pay for that extra storage. Well, not here. You get micro SD to store all your music and pictures. So the haptics on here, the feedback is actually pretty good. I was expecting it to be kind of springy and loud, but it's actually a nice quiet, you know, spring to it. It's not, you know, strong like it is on any other device, like a Samsung device or a Google device, but it's still noticeable. You still feel it when it's in your pocket. It's not a loud zzz, you know, when it's on a desk or anything. It's actually a nice spring to it. So the haptics on here are actually pretty responsive and nice for this price. Now going on over to the cons. So yeah, cons may not be as much as the pros, but we're going to start off with the performance. So performance on this guy, if you're doing a lot of multitasking, this device will bog down a lot. If you have a lot of applications open on here, it will start to slow down. If you're listening to music and you're trying to say, you know, go on Canva and you're trying to edit something on here, your music will actually stutter and slow down and speed up. It's kind of odd that it does that, but yeah, your music will start stuttering, at least on mine when I'm listening to Bluetooth and I'm trying to do something on here, you know, edit a thumbnail or something, or just do too much and I have too many apps open. The music will start to stutter and skip, and that's kind of annoying. And even when you're using the device, it will start to stutter here and there and, you know, bog down a lot, and then you'd have to go in and kill all your apps just to get things to run smooth again. So that, you know, it's kind of a shame that Dimensity 7020 isn't as much of a multitasker as some other chipsets, but it is what it is. And that is definitely a con on here, is the performance is not going to wow anybody. It's going to do the basics. So another thing on here is going to be the OS updates. So you're only going to get one operating system update, which is going to be Android 15. This is running Android 14 right now, so that's good that it is up to date. And you're only going to get about 3 years of security patches. So that's kind of another downfall. One OS update and very few security patches. So if you want something that's going to be more long term, there are other options out there for you. So going on over to the display. So the display, while looking at it, is actually pretty good. It gets bright enough, you know, for your average normal things. And when you're watching, you know, videos, it would actually get pretty nice, and the colors are actually really nice too. But once you start tilting this thing, the viewing angles are absolutely horrible. Things get fuzzy, dim, and just very, they're not good with these viewing angles. Everything starts to get a little bit dull. And outside, when you're trying to look at this thing in the sunlight, you are able to see it relatively okay, but it does not get that bright. And yeah, the viewing angles on here are absolutely horrible. This is an IPS LCD display, and it is 1080 by 2400 with 393 pixels per inch, 120 hertz, which is nice, but the viewing angles on here are just absolutely horrible. Yeah, display is not the best. So you also do not get a peak display or always on display like you would on other Motorola devices, to where you could actually click on it to bring it up. You sort of get this right here, and you are able to sort of click on your notifications, but you have to sort of turn the thing on in order to use it. You do not get a actual peak display. As you can see, the lock screen is still showing on there for the device. So yeah, peak display would have been really nice, but they did not include it on the Moto G Power 2024. Going on over to the camera. So the picture quality is mediocre. Okay, it'll take the shot when you want to take a shot quickly. It's not going to be the best detail, but it will take the shot for you. The video caps out at 1080p, 60 frames per second in the front, 30 frames on the back, and it's not the best quality. Stabilization isn't the greatest. Colors is not the greatest either. And yeah, it just looks very jerky and jittery, and not a lot of detail when it comes down to recording video on this device. And I mean, it's a $200 device. It's not going to be a Galaxy S24 Ultra when it comes down to the cameras. Everybody knows that. I know that. But yeah, just letting you know, the cameras are mediocre, and you'll probably be seeing some pictures flash on your screen taken on this device. And like I said, the video, we'll go ahead and show you a little bit of a video sample on this device. All right, so here is the front-facing camera recording at 1080p, 30 frames per second. So how is it handling the background? I actually look pretty good. Background's a little bit blown out, but it's still, you're still able to make out the clouds. Let's see if we can get some clouds over here. So we are in the direct sunlight, and yeah, you're still able to make out the clouds. It's not overexposing them. So yeah, front-facing camera, 1080p, 30 frames per second. Just a quick look at that. Alright, so here is the rear-facing camera of the Moto G Power 2024, recording at 1080p, 60 frames per second. And we are walking here. See that stabilization. As you can see, a little bit jittery, and the shadows are being crushed. Highlights are actually doing okay as far as the sky goes. But yeah, Moto G Power 2024, 1080p, 60 frames per second. Just giving you guys a quick sample of this. If you want to see a full review of this camera, I'll post a link to that video down below. So yeah, as you can see, video quality and cameras aren't the best on here. So another con is going to be editing video using Power Director on here. So Power Director is sort of crippled on here. If you were to transport some 4K video from another device onto this one, and you go into Power Director to try to edit it, it's not going to read it. It's going to say there's an error, cannot support that file. So you cannot edit anything above its 1080p cap that this device has when it comes down to video recording. So that's another shame. I wanted to edit a video on here, and and I couldn't do it because some of my footage was 4K, and it would not do it on, you know, something like Power Director did not support that format. So yeah, kind of a nitpick. I use Power Director a lot, so you may not. You may use some other, you know, video editing system, but that's just one of my cons. So lastly, we're going on over to the battery life. So you would expect this thing to last 2 or 3 days because it's a Motorola. It's got a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, but for some reason I cannot get this device to last me past a day. Going on an 8-hour day at work, by the time I'm done with work, I'm left with 30%, and that's only 8 hours of listening to music, watching a couple of videos, audible, you know, not really doing much on here, maybe editing a thumbnail, but not doing much. And the battery life, I cannot get this thing to last for a full day. I don't know what it is. It's been already 2 weeks on this device, so it has to have, you know, learned my usage by now. Is just battery life on here is not the greatest. It's just very underwhelming. I was expecting this thing to last a little bit longer, and considering that it's, you know, a smaller chipset, not that much, it's not very powerful, I was just expecting better battery life, and that's kind of a disappointment in that department for the Moto G Power. I was expecting a full day, maybe even more than that, a battery life, and I'm definitely let down in that department. So yeah, there are my pros and cons of the Moto G Power 2024. If you guys have any other like pros and cons that you got on this, or disagree with any of mine, comment down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And thank you guys for joining me today. This is Sick Eric signing out. Peace.